Hi, we're FRIKO.
Hi, I'm Bailey and I play drums in FRIKO.
I'm Nico, I play guitar and sing.
Hey, my name's David. I play bass in FRIKO.
Hey, I'm Corgan. I play guitar.
Favorite recent album.
I think across the board, we've all been loving Brat by Charlie XCX. Does that feel right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Brat, Charlie XCX. We love the new McGee album. Yeah.
What else has come out this year? We've had a lot of music this year.
A lot of good music.
A lot of really good music come out this year, and I can't remember any of it.
What's their name? Who canceled
that one? Who canceled the show? Oh, Cindy Lee. Absolutely, yeah, Cindy Lee. Diamond Jubilee. That record is beautiful. We, when we were last on tour in May, I played that record driving through Kansas a lot, and it was perfect. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites of the year.
The new Dive record. Yeah.
Dive into that.
Yeah, we should definitely do it one by one.
Change my life?
I would say The Lonesome Crowded West by Modest Mouse. I really loved Modest Mouse when I was younger in high school, but then when I got into my early 20s and listened to that record, it really changed how I thought about writing music and lyrics.
I think for me would probably be Masterpiece by Big Thief. The first time I listened to that record, it was every single song I loved immediately, and that also introduced me to Adrian Lenker's solo records from there, and yeah, it also changed the way that I thought about writing music, and I hadn't listened to much folk rock prior to that, and it kind of opened up a whole new world of music for me. So I think Masterpiece, Big Thief.
I'm going to pick somebody that's playing, I think, right now. I'm going to pick 6 Feet Beneath the Moon by King Cruel. I remember being very young and just seeing a video of him when he was like 16 walking around some park in London with this tiny little amp just on his belt loop, and he was playing Out Getting Ribs, and it was the first time I ever heard that song, and I was like, what is that? And then I found out how young he was, and he does not sound that young when he was 16, and I was like, wow, if he can do this. It was a big influence on me growing up. I think that was one of the things that taught me, hey, you can do music no matter how old you are, you know, and I think that was I think without that record, I don't think that I would have done the work that would kind of get me to meet these guys and to play this. So yeah, I'm gonna say that one for sure.
I'm also going to pick someone who's playing today. I'm going to pick Crush by Floating Points. I had never heard something so electronic feel so human, and the way that it feels like every single sound and hi-hat and kick drum is so different. It evolves so much. It's such emotional music, and it taught me a lot about electronic music and just the sounds that you can get out of modular synths.
Oh no!
Mine was The Who at Allstate Arena. Yeah.
My dad would take my sister and I to shows when we were really young, so I'm trying to remember the first one. I can't remember the person who was playing, but it was a classical guitar, like solo classical guitar performance. That's buried in the back of my mind. I think I fell asleep during it, which is sad because I would have loved to see that now, but I was like 5. I think that was like one of the first that I remember. There was a lot of local bands where we grew up who I would go to see at like local venues. Like my buddy's brother was in a band called Going Backwards. I went to go see them a bunch. That's what I got.
My first concert was an absolute movie. My first concert was ZZ Top at the Ohio State Fair. I was 10 years old. The Ohio State Fair, number one. Yeah, my dad took my brother to see bands I really wanted to see when I was a kid. When I was 6, I was obsessed with Metallica, and my dad took my brother to see Metallica, and I screamed at him, and I was like, why didn't you take me? And he said, I'm going to make it up to you, son. And then he took me to see ZZ Top. and it was amazing. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I had to like really think about it, and I was like, right, that's the one. Yeah. Shouts out ZZ Top.
My parents took me to a lot of shows when I was young, so I definitely saw like Peter Gabriel and the Indigo Girls when I was really young. But the first show that I really wanted to go to was Rush at United Center when I was in 6th grade, and it was mind-blowing. Yeah.
I really got into Black Country New Road. Isaac from that band was a really great lyricist. I say was. He's still around, but he's not in the band, obviously. Yeah, that's a generational band for me.
That's a big question. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. Yeah.
If I had to pick one top of my head, it's probably Frank Ocean. So one thing with my generation, I'm technically a millennial, and these are the Gen Zers. So I'm technically a little bit older, but I think that like that, I don't want to say lethargic, but more like patient, more exhausted. I think that like his music is a really good representation of, I just think like our general attitude right now, at least. I mean, I think it's I think that's why Blonde specifically really resonated with people my age range and below and above. It's a very special record, and even all of his music before that was special. But I would say Frank Ocean. When I think about like a generational artist, Frank Ocean's probably the person that I would probably think of. Might be a little bit more general because he's so large, but that's the first person I would think of.
I'm just gonna go with both of those. Those are great answers.
Frank Ocean and Black Country New Road.
I mean, the like ultimate amazing goal would be Miyazaki, probably. That'd be insane, but he's got his side issues, so he doesn't need any other stuff.
I would say the person that I would love to collaborate with would be Lauren Connors. He's a guitar player and does more experimental instrumental music, and I'm a very big fan of his. He cited his biggest inspiration to be Rothko, the painter, which I think is very, very cool, because I think often with musicians, they'll cite other musicians, but I haven't seen much of that, you know, other mediums being your biggest inspiration. But I'm a really big fan of his records, and I think it would be really beautiful to collaborate in some way, or just even meet. Yeah, love to see him. Yeah.
If I had to think lofty, somebody I would really, really love to work with. And I also think about somebody that like has like worked with bands before too. Somebody that's like not so crazy to think of. I would really love to collaborate with Danny Lopatin, One of Tricks Point Never, because he's produced bands in the past. Like he did a Soccer Mommy record. He did a song with Alex G. He's somebody I admire a lot. Some of my favorite music ever made, probably. I would just love to pick his brain, even if it wasn't collaborating. I just would like to talk to him, just to kind of get to know him a little bit more. But I would say from a collaboration standpoint, that'd probably be like very high on my list. I just think he's so amazing.
David said this earlier, but Brian Eno, because he's Brian Eno, and that would be really, really sick.
Wow. To the point.
Yeah.
To the point.
My favorite book right now is Kafka on the Shore. That book is incredible, and it's the most imaginative story I've ever read. Yeah.
In January, I read On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. So beautifully written, amazing story. I tried to read it months prior, but put it down for some reason, and then picking it up again in January, I finished it in like 3-4 days, because it was just, yeah, it feels like you're reading poetry the entire time. It's so beautiful, and yeah, it really pulls you in. I loved that book. Yeah.
I'm gonna copy Nico a little bit with a Murakami pick. I'm gonna pick Drive My Car, like the short story for Men Without Women, but also the movie, because you did say book or movie. I love that movie so much. It's beautiful. The fact that it's a 40-page short story and they made it 3 hours, that's magic in itself. I don't know how I would do that, but that story means the world to me. I can't really think of many like stories or really any art of any medium that's made me feel the way that story did, both book and movie. It's just fabulous. So yeah, I'm gonna do a hybrid pick. Beautiful. Oh my God, the best score in the world. Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. Sorry.
I love Finding Nemo. I think it's really good. And I loved it when I was a kid, and I watched it recently. And no, not on the plane, but
you should watch it on the plane.
I will. Yeah, it's so good. There's just
keep swimming, man.
Yeah, Monsters Inc. Like,
oh, that's my favorite Pixar movie.
They're all so good. God. Yeah, Finding Nemo. Such a good pick.
To my Sully.
I love Pixar.
Much to think about.
Mike to Sully.
Much to think about.
I feel like I'll just say like Empty Bottle. We love Metro and Dahlia Hall, three of our favorites. Yeah, there's just Chicago's filled with great venues, and there were three of the best. I would say, personally, I think not getting apathetic about when you're writing in any way. I think most artists will write from a place of feeling deeply, but not being afraid to express that wholeheartedly.
I would say it's very important to write for yourself first. I think thinking about, I mean, obviously the audience is important. It's the whole reason kind of why we do this, but like writing from the standpoint of like, how does this make me feel? Well, how does this resonate with me comparatively to like, are other people going to like this? I would say that would be a very, very, very big one for me. Just like being very true to yourself. And I think that's something a lot of artists do now. I think that's what makes artists so special now. And it's really kind of continuing that tradition for sure. I can do this one, or I can start with this one. I listen to a lot of Japanese music from like the 80s. Like I would say my bass hero is Haruomi Hosono. Big hero of mine. But also outside of that, I mean, I like the sound check a lot with Someday by Tatsuro Yamashita. I love that bass line so much. I love Hiroshi Sato. I love Maria Takuchi. I love a lot of ambient music that comes from Japan. Hiroshi Yoshimura. Even like just like the guitar music. Masayoshi Takanaka, that's a big one for me too. I got to see Joe Hisaishi, who's done a lot of the scores from Miyazaki with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, and I bawled my eyes out for over an hour straight. I forget who I was telling this to. They asked me how old I was, and I was like, it was a month ago, and I was kind of embarrassed. Japanese music is it's probably one of the most important like regional pieces, like just most regional when it comes to music. I would say that's probably number one, number two, somewhere out there. But yeah, I love Japanese music. I'm gonna pass it to somebody else.
I feel like that says enough.
Beautiful.
I feel the same way.
Boris in Chicago at the Metro 2 years ago was one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my life. I love Boris.
I echo many of the ones David said. That's it. I would definitely, my first obsession was the late 70s New York punk scene. That's definitely mine.
Anytime Jimi Hendrix played anywhere, I would go. That's it.
Anywhere, late 70s New York, for sure. Like, I kind of thinking about the time where, like, Just Kids took place by Patti Smith. Oh, man. Yeah, I would do anything to be a part of that, for sure. Or just to be there, just to see it.
I like the era of the Chelsea Hotel.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just recently read that book, Just Kids. It was beautiful. Man, that's a really hard question. I mean, the first thing that came to mind would be, like, if you could see just like Chopin, in person. Like, that was the first thing that came to mind. I mean, yeah, with composers from that era, would they even perform their own music live, or would they have somebody else do it? I don't even know the answer to that question.
I have no idea.
I got something to research later.
Cool.
But yeah, that was the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah, Chopin scene.
The Chopin
The Chopin scene.
Sayonara Tan TV. We're going to be back in Japan November 19th in Osaka, November 21st in Tokyo. See you soon. Alright, thank you guys.